That's pretty loud. Corey Willis tunes, man, they're just a work of art. Nothing wrong with my tunes, though. Absolutely nothing. Put it back to stock and this doesn't happen. There's nothing wrong with the tunes. I had the Master Tech look at it. Everything's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, well, you guys need to quit being such a freaking pass the bill type of thing. That ain't our problem. Well, I can tell you this is my third turbo vane actuator. Trying to get the bra off because it's freaking warm out. The connector, that white connector there, yeah, vane actuator, that's what's buzzing. You unplug it, it quits. Plug it back in, buzzes. Only does that when the key is off. And you just shut the engine down. Once the relay shuts off, then it's done. No big deal, except for the fact it sounds like shit. Well, the people at Corey have denied that it's a tuning problem, but you put the truck back to stock and it doesn't happen. It just doesn't make any sense. Ever since I requested whistle at idle, it's been doing this. Now, when I first got my tunes, I had specified whistle at idle. So what do? They give me tunes without whistle at idle. So what do? Email them. They send me any other tune, load it on, buzzes. Okay. Dad's truck has the same exact set of tunes. The non-whistle at idle tunes, his doesn't do it. This one didn't do it. I want whistle at idle, but them idiots don't know how to tune the truck to whistle at idle without a buzz. People said, well, the turbo tables at like 120 RPM has to be 0. I tell the guy that. Oh, we looked at the tables, they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them. Well, we can guarantee that's not our tunes. Multiple times I've called them and emailed them about this problem. I can guarantee that's not the problem with the tunes. Well, I can say so. He's running the same tunes, no whistle at idle, buzzing. Third turbo vane actuator. You think there's a problem? I think so. And their transmission tunes are just absolute fucking trash. I tell you, his truck doesn't have them. He doesn't have these problems. I have these problems. I hate the lockup in fourth gear when you're driving because about 45 miles an hour, you'll be going do, and then on about 46 miles an hour, it goes to engage the torque converter, but instantly decides not to. So it goes boom. Since it's a triple disc torque converter, it bangs real hard when it engages, and you get a boom when it decides to do this. And then it goes up to about 50 miles an hour, and then it engages and stays locked. But it does this 75% of the time I'm driving. I've tried to send them logs, and of course, once you got the thing hooked up and you're reading the computer, it's like, oh, best behavior, I better not do it. Oh, I don't want to be fixed. And so they adjusted my trans tunes. I loaded that, whatever. Didn't fix it. Maybe made it a hair better, just a hair, but it still does it all the time. And it is, you go to race this thing, and it just, transmission doesn't know what to do. It does not know what to do. They did not tune this transmission. I mean, they tuned it for 0 to 60 type of situation. They didn't tune it for daily driving. You're doing 30 miles an hour and you plant it. And it just kind of fumbles around gear. What do I do? Oh, I'll do this. By the time, they're going to chalk that up to, transmission issue. There ain't no fucking issue, okay? I had no problems with this without these tunes. No problem. Now I got a problem. It just frickin' is just fumbling around, can't decide what it wants to do. I'm just sick of it. I'm so sick of Corey's tunes on these LBZs. They're frickin' dogs. I hate the stock throttle position up to half throttle. That's just trash. If I wanted my truck to feel stock, I would have left stock tune on. Getting on the freeway, it's nice. But when I go to the daily drive, I want to feel like I'm driving a tuned truck. I mean, that's what I paid 500, 600 bucks for, is to drive a truck that feels like it's tuned pretty much all the time. Because you get in my LB7 with his tunes, I love them. I can't speak enough about them, other than one little quirk with the cruise control, because the throttle is literally like a light switch. Right where you're gonna hold the throttle while you're cruising down the road on the freeway, it's literally like a light switch. It's on or off. You speed up or slow down, and the cruise control doesn't know how to. The cruise control on an 0102 is not as refined as an 03 to 07 and up. It's more jerky. Well, and with those tunes the way they are, it's even more jerky. But the power that my LB7 has just smokes this thing. I mean, I had the exact same setup as my LB7, a 3/4 ton extended cab short bed. Both my trucks were like that. But my LB7 would just walk all over this thing, this engine, this tuning. And it would... the LBZ with the tuning is upwards of 80 more horsepower, tune for tune, with my LB7. And yet my LB7 will just cream this thing. Cream it. Now, this thing can't even begin to keep up. Now, with this setup, a crew cab short bed, it's a little bit slower. But, this thing versus this thing, I don't know. Trans tunes, freaking garbage. I regret it. Big time. And the thing is I asked for my stock tune back. I didn't save the tune from my AutoCal when I read it. So I have to send it in. They have to program it for my AutoCal so I could put it back on the truck. Well, I did that, and it's been a back and forth debacle. It's been driving me nuts. It has been one thing after the other. Oh man, what's the problem? Oh, well, we don't know what the problem is. Transfer you to this guy, that guy. So I got my stock tune back the first time. I loaded it on the truck. Truck didn't start. It cranked, but wouldn't start. And I'm like, what the hell? So I put the which tune? I put this tune back on, the performance tunes that I've been running with them, and the truck fired up, and I'm like, well, I ain't doing that again. Well, what's the problem? Don't know what the problem is. Maybe it was saved wrong. And they sent me another tune. I haven't put it back on. I haven't had the time to put it back on, the stock, because I'm just so sick of these tunes. I want to go get Danville Performance Tunes, because this is absolute garbage. LBZ tuning, no good. I mean, at least I wanted this thing to feel like an LLY with that throttle response. If you've ever driven one, if you haven't, then don't even chime in. But if you've driven an LLY, you know that throttle sensitivity stock will snap your neck. It is over the top. I wanted something somewhat like that in between, because this is like a really good mall crawler in stock form. An LLY was like a race truck right off the line. It just power balls to the wall with very little throttle. This thing, not so much. LBZ. So I wanted it to be a little bit more peppy off the line, and they just couldn't deliver. Couldn't deliver with their tunes. Of course, you got to specify this, that, the other, but, well, of course, then the tunes haven't been tested in that form, and then you get shit. So, trans tunes, ECM tunes, absolute trash. Don't recommend them for your LBZ from Corey Willis, PPI, because maybe if Corey tuned them himself and not this Ryan or whoever else I got transferred to messed with them, and maybe my tunes would be better. If they threw it on a dyno, I'm sure they could get it the way I want it. But out of the box, $500-600 for engine and transmission tuning and the AutoCal, I can't justify it. It is I hate driving this truck with these tunes on here. I hate it. But this is my salty winter driver, my rusty but trusty. The only thing that's trusty about this truck is the engine, the power plant. I mean, the tuning, fuck. It'll get you from point A to point B, but you'll be cussing and swearing the whole time because of how much of a dog it is, how the transmission's a beating, banging around, trying to find what gear it wants to be in, lock up or unlock, and whatever else. And you stomp on it, and it just doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, I'm done with PPI and their LBZ tunes. But you know, I dove into it because I had my LB7 tunes first, and I just couldn't speak high enough about them. It's just, dude, my O1 is just as fast as like an LML. I guarantee my stock LB7 with the tunes, you know, stock block, intake, exhaust, or you know, fuel and air, that it would just absolutely cream an LML tuned. I mean, it is just an absolute beast, and it's like everything after that, everything after '05, it's like the tunes just dropped off the planet. You know, oh yeah, you got 150 horsepower. I'd like to see it. The speedo don't move. Yeah. The LLY with Bully Dog's 90 horsepower tune, that was a severely aggressive tune. I mean, that thing, your EGTs were 1300 degrees, just barely, about half throttle or so. You hit 1300 degrees. That is some power. Let me tell you what, the LLY doesn't even compare to these LBZs. The nice thing about the LBZ is that they're quieter. The injectors, they're quieter. Other than that, I miss my whistle like the LLY had, and I miss the power like the LLY had. And yes, it is up to tuning for power, but Corey Willis ain't where it's at. I guarantee that. Not for the LBZ, and I really wonder about the LLY, but yeah, I'm not going to find out, because eventually the LLY is going to get dropped into something. I'm thinking like a Hummer H2. I think that would be pretty sweet. You know, it's a people hauler, grocery getter, Duramax style. You know, tow the boat on the weekend, don't need a pickup to tow, you know, frickin' 30,000 pounds. Not that this could do that, but you know what I mean. It's a good little grocery getter, you know, kick-ass Duramax. But leave it up to Corey to fuck up the tunes big time. I hate driving this truck. I hate it. It's just a dog. And yeah, I know my injectors are shit. They're not great. But the balance rates are within spec. Not that that means the whole world, but I mean, yeah, I do have an injector knock when it comes to like negative 20 degree cold starts. But let me tell you what, I've been using this Royal Purple. Let me grab it quick. Whoops, trash can there. Been using this Royal Purple diesel additive because I like their oil a lot. It actually cleans your engine out and whatever and blah blah blah. It's really nice. And this stuff about $17 at O'Reilly's. I used about half the can because it says up to 100 gallons, and I'm like, okay, because it says well, up to 100 gallons, and that's using their directions. What is it? 1 ounce per 5 gallons of diesel, or high performance applications can safely use 1 ounce per 2 gallons. So that's about 13 ounces per tank of fuel. Well, this is 20 ounces, so I figure about half the can's good enough. I want a little bit stronger potency to help clean my injectors, fuel system, whatever else. And so yeah, half the can, and my injectors haven't been knocking when it's negative 20 degree cold starts. So the lubricity is really kicking in. So that's good. But like I said, balance rates are within spec, and when the truck runs, it's just quieter than quiet. And yeah. End of the rant. I'm sorry if you guys really hate rants, but you know what? I'm warning you guys, don't buy Corey Willis LBZ tunes. They rather suck. Even with transmission tuning and ECM tuning, this thing defuels in between shifts. Not as much as factory like that one. I'm sure defueling comes from the transmission, but it still defuels quite a bit. It's like it hangs in limbo, doesn't know what to do, defuels, and that thing, oh my gosh, holy, does that defuel. That'll throw your head in the dashboard just about. But they did improve it, but it's not near as much as they should have. So, but alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Just a heads up, LB7 tune's good. They don't even do non-emissions tuning anymore, so yeah, I don't know. But I mean, LB7 was 01 was the pre-emissions, pretty much everything. It didn't even have any EGR on it, so, or did it? Maybe it had an EGR. No, it did not. It did not have an EGR, I don't believe, and it did not have a PCV system. I mean, it did, but it went into a catch can, not the intake. So frickin' rights. Buy yourself an 01 LB7 and build that beast, because my gosh, it'd be a whole lot better than an LBZ. The only thing good about an LBZ is the 6-speed and the quieter injectors. Whew, man, I love having that 6th gear. The thing just cruises at 85 at 2,000 RPM. Oh my gosh, you get into an LLY or even the LB7 and 85's like 2,400 RPM, and you're like, holy balls. And that's with 285, 75, 16s. So, yeah, LB7 might get a 6-speed upgrade one day here. Depends if I get a new truck or not. But I love this truck because it's been in the family for over 10 years now. And I built it from the ground up, restored it more or less for, brake lines all the way around, rubber, hard, stainless, or whatever you want to call them, from Dorman, and new power steering pump, new hydro boost, new master cylinder. Well, now the new Banks Ram air intake, and I've put a lot of money into it. I'm still putting money into it. I'm making it better. Yeah, the rockers are junk, but you know what? It's salty, winter, nasty crap out. Why would I do rockers right now? It don't pay, and it's the rusty but trusty. It doesn't hurt to. Rockers need to be done so they don't eat up into the cab, but they're just gonna keep going bad. It's the rusty but trusty, man. She frickin' rocks and rolls and does the work I need it to. The frame's solid, so. The body may have some rot, but the frame's good. So, but anyway, I just figured I'd share a little bit of why I can't stand Corey's Tunes, and their customer service is just in denial. It's not our problem. It's not our tunes. We didn't do that. Bullshit, bud. Okay? Bullshit. So, put it back to stock. You don't have these problems. But, alrighty. Thanks for watching. God bless.